Hi everyone, and welcome to another TV for Education and Smart Suite YouTube live event. So today we're going to be having a look at creating a lesson from start to finish. We're going to be having a look at all the different options that you have available to you. So some of them you may not want to use, some of them you might find really interesting for you, but it's a good way to have a look at everything that's available to you. Now today we're going to be creating a lesson for space science for Year 8 students. That's just to give you a good example, but you can create a lesson using any video or resource that you have on TV for Education. And there's lots and lots of topics that are available to you. A really good place to start is our Learning Tube category. So that's where we have our premium educational content. There's a lot of video lessons in there, documentaries, and just really good short topical videos for you to start with. Now, first of all, you want to make sure that you are logged into your school's Smart Suite account. If you're not sure what your school's URL is, you can either ask your librarian or IT, or you can just send us an email to support@functionalsolutions.com.au. Just send us your name and your school's name, and we will be able to send you your school's URL. Now, once you're logged in, I'm currently on the TV for Education page, so I can come here and start selecting videos or resources that I would like to use in my lesson, or alternatively, I can go straight to the menu button, hit Smart Classrooms, and create a lesson. So first of all, I am just going to go create a lesson. You've got a couple of other options there. So you can go browse lessons. If you've already created some, you might want to have a look at them and then edit a lesson that you've already created. Or you can go to Browse TV for Ed videos. That's a good place to start if you haven't selected a topic or a video that you want to start with. Or if you simply want to clip a TV for Ed video or a YouTube video, you can just go clip. But for us today, we're going to go create a lesson because we're creating a whole lesson. Now, the first field you need to fill in is lesson name. So I'm going to say Space Science Intro for Year 8s. But you can, of course, call this anything that you want, whether you want to name it Mr. B's Year 8 Space Science, or if you want to name it specifically Stars and Meteors, you can name it whatever you would like. Now, you've also got the option to set security. We have a lot of options in our security. Yours will probably be the year levels and then staff. So you might want to make the lesson available to staff only or to a certain year level. Because I'm making this lesson for Year 8s, I'm going to say that anyone who is in Year 8 or above can view this lesson by selecting the number 8. Now, if you're not 100% sure how security works, you can have a look at the previous security videos that have been created on our channel. So on our Functional Solutions YouTube channel and our TV for Education channel, just have a look for security, or again, just contact support. You can either call them or email them and they'll be able to help you out with security. If you don't have security set up, of course, we can set that up for you as well. Now, in the description, I would suggest using any words that your students will be searching for. So I'm going to say astronomy, stars, meteors, space science, and Year 8. Now, you can put a description that fully describes your lesson. You can put a very short description or leave it blank. That's totally up to you. But whatever you put in the description will be searchable. So it'll make it easier for the students to find this resource themselves. Now, I'm going to say I want the students to be able to look at any slide and I want to publish the lesson. So as soon as the lesson is finished, I want it to be available to my students. You can come back and change these settings later if you wanted to work on it and then publish the lesson later, or make sure that the slides are appropriate for your students to view. Let's just click Save to save this lesson. Now what it's done there is given us a blank lesson for us to start with. Now because I know exactly what the topic is that I'm creating a lesson for, I've actually saved some resources from TV for Education to my items because I know that they're videos that I wanted to save to use later, and now I want to put them in my lesson. So the first thing we're going to do is add materials. So you've got view all materials. Whenever there's an eye icon, that means you can view them. Currently, it says content list, but there's nothing listed below. That's because nothing has been added to this lesson yet. So the first thing we want to do is add some material. So first of all, we are going to add a video from TV for Education. So if you haven't previously looked at what's available, you can do that from here by clicking the plus. So the plus will always let you add something. We'll scroll down to TV for Education and then run a search for the video that I need. Now I know the word twinkle is in the title, so I'll just do a search for that. And here we go, astronomically correct twinkle twinkle. So we'll click add. Now to open the video onto majority of the screen, if you wanted to check that the video was correct, you can click on the title of the video. This is while you're editing, so keep in mind this is your editing screen. So all of this will be clean when the student is viewing the lesson or if you're presenting the lesson, but it's giving you all these options now because you're still in creation mode. Now we'll have a quick look what this lesson is about.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, you look small 'cause you are far, light years out from here to there. Your light's distorted by the air, so you twinkle, twinkle, little star. Adaptive optics shows you as you are. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, you must be a small pulsar. Out away from Earth you drift, this is known from your redshift. Twinkle, twinkle, spinning star, degenerate neutrons are what you are. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, supernova, au revoir. You got so big, too big perhaps, electron capture, core collapse. Twinkle, twinkle, former star, black hole's all that you now are. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, wait, actually no, you're a meteor, breaking up in the atmosphere. I wish I'd known you'd end up here. Twinkle, twinkle, shooting star, became a meteorite that hit my car.
Alright, so as you can see, that's a really short, great introduction video, and that's exactly what I'm going to use it as. So if I click on the eye icon, again, that's going to tell me all the content that's available on this slide. You've got two buttons here. One is a bin icon, so that's if you want to delete the video. If you then previewed it in here and decide, oops, that wasn't what I wanted, you can delete it there. Or if you want to edit it, this will allow you to rename it. So I'm going to rename this Space Science Introduction Video. You've got a description here that you can change as well. And this is the video ID. So you want to leave this one because that's automatically generated from TV for Education, and click update. And now this is how it will appear for your students. Now you can go ahead and keep adding more resources. So you can add things from YouTube, from curated YouTube, from the catalogue. If your school is someone that uses our system for the library system, you can add resources from the library or from My Items. Now you've also got the video clipping tool. So if I wanted to only show part of this video, so let's have a look for the end of it. And you can look for the end just by clicking on this time bar at the bottom. So as you can see, as I click, it's skipping ahead to different parts of the video. Now, this is the credits here. After the credits, it does tell you a bit more about getting more videos that are similar. So I will crop that out. Now at the bottom here, you've got an open bracket and a close bracket. So we want to set the close bracket at the end of the selection of the video that we want to keep. So if we click that, it'll put a red marker. Now if we go straight to the start of the video, we will click the open bracket. And so as you can see up here, it's marked the start time as the very start of the video, the end time as 1:41, and then you've got a chapter title. So I'm going to say complete video and click create chapter. But if you wanted to create multiple chapters, because you might want to say clip 1, clip 2, clip 3, and then provide hints or questions on each clip. So you can go through and mark multiple points in the video and then call them different chapters. So you've got that ability there. Now at the bottom, I'm going to click the save button. And as you can see, there's no saving time, there's no buffering time. It is just immediately ready for you to use that clip. And what it's going to show as is just the clip that you've selected. So there's no way that your students will accidentally view something that they weren't supposed to. They'll only have access to this selection of the video. Now to go back, you've got a close button on the top right-hand corner, and your video is ready. So again, whether you're in editing mode or whether you're in presenting mode or teaching mode, you can click on the title of the video to make it larger. You've then of course got the full screen button, which you can then close. And again, if you click on the title, that will minimize it again for you. So this is good to know when you've got a whole list of different content that is available for you. So let's have a look at adding another video for you here. So I've got a scroll bar to scroll up to the materials. We click add for materials, click add to TV for Education. Let's go space and stars, and we'll see what pops up. So at the top, we've got a horrible science episode that covers space, stars, and slimy aliens. So let's say that's a good follow-up video for us to use. So let's click add. And that video is now added to our resources. Again, if I want to rename the video, I can get rid of the ratings and just have the episode name. It's going to automatically inherit the description from TV for Education, and we'll click update. So now my list of resources is right there available to me. Now, underneath adding materials, you've got adding get thinking options. So this is where you can add questions. And if we click the plus button, you've got a couple of options available to you there. So you can add multiple choice questions, single selection, yes or no or missing words. So in this case, let's add a missing word. Stars appear small because you are. And then at the end of the row, you've got an add blank button. So if we click on that, that will automatically add the space for where you want to add a word later. So for answer 1, let's say the answer is far away. Now this allows you to do multiple blanks in a sentence. So if you wanted to say what appears small because you are what, you could say the first answer is stars and then the second answer here is far away. But for this case, we've just used the one. So we'll click save. And then if we click on the eye icon, this is how it will appear to your students. Again, if you don't like the question, you can click the rubbish bin icon and delete it, or you can click the edit button to go back and add some more options in that question. Now you can add as many questions as you would like. Because this is my introduction slide that just has the intro video and one additional video, I'm just going to leave it with one question for now. Now I want to make sure that the students can see this slide. This is something that you would use if you are using a full lesson plan that you've put into the slide, or if you've got notes on here. You might have a slide that you want to be just available to teachers, so you could leave that off, but I want to make sure my students can see it, so I'm going to change it to yes. The other thing to remember with SmartLessons is that it's going to automatically save all these options for you, so you don't have to look around for a save button. So what we're going to do for now is just scroll back up to view materials to make sure we've got those 2 materials, and then we'll scroll back down to slide settings. And in here, you've got speaker notes. So if I go edit notes in here, I can actually put in a note that says, make sure to show the second video after the students have answered a question, or you can put a note in there that you have saved a resource somewhere else. Whatever kind of note you would like to put in, you can go don't show to students, and that way it'll only be available to read as a teacher on the system. So you can leave any notes that you want to add in here, and that way it'll be available to you but not the students. Now if we click next slide on the bottom, as you can see, this is the only slide. So we'll go to slide settings and go add slide. Now this is a really good way to control how fast your students are actually progressing through the lesson. So you can make sure that everyone has completed watching the videos from the first slide and answering the question before they go to the next slide. Now in here you can add another video, so we'll scroll up in the options, click add, keeping in mind that you can add from YouTube itself or curated YouTube, from TV for Education or My Items. So this time let's have a look at what is available on YouTube. So let's say we want to add this Crash Course Kids video. So we'll click this add button on the side. Again, once it's been added, you can click on the video to preview it.
Space. It's really cool. Actually, it's really cold and really big and really awesome. Space has inspired a lot.
So again, you can change the title, you can clip this video if you want to only show a certain section, but let's say this video is exactly what we want, and we want to include the whole thing. So the next thing we want to do is add another resource. So if we click add, you may not know that you can add a text box. So you can add in instructions, or you can add in an activity or additional resource simply by copying and pasting the text into this field. Again, you've got a title, a description. We're just going to, for now, add the title. And we will put in example. So this is how it will show for your students. As you can see, it's shown part of the text as a preview on the side here. And again, they will be able to make it majority of the screen or close it as well. The reason for that being, they can actually bring up the questions that are available on this slide while playing the video. So if they know they need to find a certain answer, they can have the questions opened up while playing the video on the side panel. Now you also have the ability to add a URL. So this is a really great tool if you have a game somewhere that you want them to look at, or if they're getting ready for an exam and you have listed somewhere on the school intranet some details that they need for the exam. You can just put the URL in here. So I can find that URL. Space Science Game is what I'm going to name it. Legends of Learning is the website I've found it on, and I click Add URL. Now, as you can see, that video that game has loaded in my lesson. So the students will be able to straight away start playing that game. Now, I can also add a worksheet. You might have a lesson or activity that you've got as a PDF or a JPEG. So you can click Upload File. And then in this folder that I've created for this lesson, I've got a Space Science worksheet. So you can double click on that. And it has uploaded into your folder. So if I scroll down, here it is there. And as you can see, I've got this little worksheet activity that's available to my class. So they'll be able to access it there. Again, they can make it full screen. They can make it smaller. And if we click View All Materials, again, that will show them everything available on this slide. Now, if we go back to slide settings, if I decide I want them to do this slide first, I can reorder the slides. But as I said before, our other video was our introduction, so we want to keep that as the previous slide. Again, we want the students to be able to view this slide, so we will make the option say yes. Now, again, you've got a whole lot of different kinds of questions that you can add, so you could then add more questions onto this slide if you wanted to. You can add more materials if you wanted to, but I'm going to say for now that that's all I want to do with this lesson. So if we go back to the action panel and then click Edit Title, that's going to take us back to our lesson. So while I started this as an introduction, I ended up adding an additional slide that had more resources and more in-depth activities for the students to do. So I'm going to get rid of the introduction in the title. I'm going to make sure that the lesson is published. And if I scroll down, I'm now going to upload a cover. So again, that brings up the upload option, and up the top you've got upload file. I can then select the cover image that I've created. Now it uploads files alphabetically, so I can then find my file down here. So I've put Space Science, Mrs. HT's Introduction to Year 8 Space Science. So this is an image that I've created elsewhere, so you can use Paint, or if you've got an image that you've saved from somewhere else, you can just upload it there. You don't have to do this, it'll automatically add a default image for you, but we'll scroll up, make sure that setting is on Enable for Published Lesson, and click Save. So now if we go to My Items, the lesson you've created will automatically add to your items. So if we click on that lesson, it'll now give us 3 different options. So we've got Start the lesson, Teach the lesson, or Edit. So Start will be the option that your students have, where they can just go through and use the lesson. Teach will put it in presenter mode. So again, you won't be able to add additional resources. You'll just be able to show the lesson. So if we click Teach, you can see on this page there is 2 materials and 1 question. So it'll always show you exactly what's available. I'm just going to mute the video while I talk, but if I again click that title to minimize it, I can then click on the questions and allow the video to continue playing so that I can look out for the answer to this question. So once I've found the answer, I can then answer the question here. Now I can then click Next Slide, and because I didn't add any questions this time, it's not going to have any questions, but as you can see, it shows me the different materials. So it says 1 YouTube resource, then we've got a document, a URL, and another document. So again, I can just click through and view all the resources. So that would be the same whether you're a student or a presenter. So if we go back to My Lessons, and instead of clicking Teach, we will click Start, just to show you what it'll look like from a student's perspective. Again, we just have the question and the video. And once I answer the question, I can then click Save Answers. I can then go to the next slide, have a look at all the resources that are available to me here. And once I'm sure that I have completed the lesson, I can click Submit, which will then notify the teacher that I have completed the lesson. So that's it. We've now created our first complete smart lesson together for space science. So go ahead and create a lesson yourself, see how you go. If you have any issues, contact us. Don't forget, we will link some helpful videos below on things like clipping videos and how to monitor your students' engagement. So they're videos that we've previously done in this series, but you'll find it really helpful if you're putting together lessons. Now, we know this was a longer video, so again, there are shorter topics about creating lessons that you can have a look at in the description below. We'll link them all for you there. Don't forget, you can subscribe to our Functional Solutions YouTube page as well as our TV for Education YouTube page. We post different topics on both, so it's good to be following them as well. Now, we look forward to seeing you at other YouTube live events, and don't forget to check our website for future events that are free, that are available to our customers as well. Thanks so much for attending.